Hello, how's it going? For today's video, I am going to talk about something that I think a lot of people struggle with, and that is how to pick what you really want to do. So, I think probably, what was it, 2014, I think it was, when I think I graduated in 13. I did the engineering thing for 1 year and I was like, yeah, this isn't what I want to do. But I had no idea what I wanted to do, right? So what I did, I pretty much started listening to Audible, like every single book on business, on like entrepreneurship, on like anything. I looked back last night and the first year I listened to like 50 books, and then I listened the following year 75 books, the year after that 100 books, and so on and so forth. And I think last year I only listened to like 50 because I actually started reading. So my whole life I hated reading books, and a big part of that was obviously when I moved here to America when I was 10. I didn't know how to speak English, right? So I had to learn how to speak English. Therefore, I am a terrible reader. Not that I'm a terrible reader, I just read slow, and it's annoying. But I think the main point of that is when I was going through school, all we were given to read was books that were not interesting to me, like a dude digging holes or some mouse doing some shit. Like all those books were just, like, to me, they were not interesting, right? Maybe if someone would have given me like a book on real estate or something like that, I've been like, oh, I love reading, right? But anyway, I digress. So that's kind of like how I picked what I wanted to read or what I wanted to do. I read all these books, kind of figured out what was there. And then the main thing I did, really, I just tried to figure out the life that I wanted to live and what options were out there for me to make the amount of money that I needed to make to live the life I wanted to live. So I pretty much looked at, like, all right, I want to live in this kind of house in this location. I want to drive this kind of car. Well, I want to drive these kinds of cars. And I want to have this sort of lifestyle. And from there, I pretty much figured out, like, okay, for me to have this house, I need to make this much a month. For me to drive or have all these cars, I need to make this much a month. For me to whatever, I need to make this much a month. And then or whatever, a year, let's say. And then I like broke it down to the month. And from there, I was like, okay, what can I do to do this? And to me, real estate, the possibilities are literally endless. Like, people always need somewhere to live. So that's why you have rentals. That's why you have apartments. It's one of the few things that it's one of the basic needs, right? People need air, water, food, and a place to shelter, right? So they're not making any more land. So it just felt like the natural thing for me to do. And then I pretty much just started reading a bunch of books on real estate, and I really like fell in love with it. So that's pretty much how I decided what I wanted to do. Pretty much just by reading a bunch of books and looking at a bunch of dudes on Google, seeing like what they did, to make their money. And some things I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. That's not interesting to me. That's boring. That's terrible, and other things like real estate, I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. It's like challenging. It's exciting. And to you, that might not be the case, but for me, it was. So that's kind of how I picked what I really wanted to do. And I'm curious, I think a lot of people struggle with trying to figure out what they actually want to do. If you're struggling on what you want to do, maybe drop a comment or send me a DM, and I can give you some books that I've read that I found useful. Because I have gone through a lot of them. I'm at the point now where I'm like going through them again, because in the earlier years I was just like devouring everything that I could to figure this out. So now I'm like actually going through and like reading them and actually understanding them more in depth. But yeah,